Court Interpreter Pedro Davis. I'm here to assist the first house misdemeanor on the list.
Right.
Andrea Rada, I'll stand by.
Got it. Mr. Bautista, I have a number of things here for you.
Yes.
I have a warrant out of South Tucson City Court.
I saw these tripping on.
Charges for shoplifting. They go back to June of 2022. Looks like also failures to appear in court. I'll reduce the bond to $500. Court date of tomorrow at 10 a.m. You're not to return to the incident location. You need to abide by previous conditions of release. And Michael Vaughn will represent you on this charge only. Because I also have numerous charges out of Pima County Justice Court. Charges from October 4th of 2023. For shoplifting, possession of paraphernalia, and criminal trespass, along with failures to appear. We'll appoint John Ellis to represent you on this charge. Bond will be $500. Well, we'll make the bond $100 on this one. Court date on this will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock in front of Judge Ball. And again, you don't go back to the incident location, no alcohol or illegal drugs, and abide by previous conditions of release. Second warrant out of Pima County Justice Court, shoplifting from May 28th of 2023. Looks like you're supposed to be in court in November of that year and didn't appear. Will be the same conditions on this matter. And then we have new charges of theft. I'll release you on this charge, but set it for the same court date. And you're not to go back to 3845 South Country Club. Do you understand that? Actually, you're not to go to any Circle K stores. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Bautista.
I get these. I'm not giving out. Look. Get up.
I'm supposed
Sit down.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are.
Jason Anthony Rasmussen.
I'm gonna waste.
Mr. Rasmussen, I have quite a number of things here for you. We'll start with current charges. Shoplifting at 3785 West Ina.
The first speak.
I told it at 700, but I won't push it to get the permit for it.
Your next court date in Marana will be at noon tomorrow. You're not to return to CVS, no alcohol or illegal drugs. If you post a $100 bond, you need to be in Marana City Court tomorrow at noon. Then we have charges out of Tucson City Court. We have charges from July 2nd of this year for criminal trespass, along with multiple failures to appear. Charges from August the 15th, possession of paraphernalia, failure to appear. Charges of August the 15th for possession of a shopping cart, failure to appear. Charges for shoplifting, possession of paraphernalia, threats and intimidation alleged to have occurred on September the 14th, failure to appear. And charges from October the 12th for shoplifting and criminal trespass. Will appoint city public defender's office to represent you on these charges. Bond is $250. If you post the bond, your court date's November 20th at 9:30 in the morning. If you haven't posted the bond, you will be seen next week, Tuesday at about 1:45. No alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to return within 4 blocks of 7910 East Speedway. You're not to go to any Target or Walmart stores. Out of custody, substance abuse assessment and treatment. Do you understand that? Thank you, Mr. Rasmus. Good evening, I'm Judge Shane, and you, sir, are? Microphone's muted. Your name?
Albert Siqueiros Jr.
Mr. Takeros, I have a warrant here, a couple warrants out of Pima County Justice Court. I have charges from July 2nd of 2022 for drinking in public. Looks like you were supposed to be in court sometime in October of last year. And then charges from July 6th of last year for shoplifting, resisting arrest. And it looks like you're supposed to be in court in October. What can we do to be sure you show up in court?
What was that?
How can we be sure you're going to show up in court?
Oh, I definitely will. My sister's been helping me out.
Okay, looks like it's been in previously, so we'll leave that attorney in place. Contact your attorney for address or phone number on your paperwork. Your concern of the investigations, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Your court date's November the 4th at 9 a.m. Do you understand that?
Yes. This is some of you.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Your Honor, did he get released or did he get a bond?
No, he's released.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
He's been transferred from one to the next, but transfer himself to Tucson.
I got the brown one, because they printed it for the other guy. 360. Timothy Miller.
Mr. Miller,
Yes, ma'am.
petitions are charging you with domestic violence violation of court order, driving under the influence of intoxicating liquor or drugs, domestic violence, disorderly conduct. DV reviews are now set with regular reviews. Okay, yeah, because they didn't used to be, so that's why I wonder. Your next court date is going to be tomorrow at 1 o'clock. William Parvin's going to be appointed to represent you. Bond is $750. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons, absolutely no contact except through court order with Nicole or the children. Do you understand that? You don't go near their residence, work, or schools. No alcohol in your residence or vehicles. Do you understand that? All right, thank you. Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are,
Yes,
and your last name, sir?
table.
Mr. Tatum. I have citations here charging you with criminal trespass. Alleged to be occurred on August the 24th. On failures to appear in court. In possession of paraphernalia. And charged for criminal trespass today. If you're released, will you come to court?
Yes.
I'll give you one more chance. Your court date is November the 25th at 9:30 in the morning in the Tucson City Court. No alcohol or illegal drugs. You need to engage in a substance abuse assessment and begin any recommended treatment. And you're not to return within 3 blocks of Speedway and Alvernon. Do you understand that? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Right? Thank you, Mr. King.
Come on. Hey, go get a C2. See.
No, it's.
I'll see what-
She wanted before. Valley.
Come on.
Good evening. I'm Judge Fade and you, sir.
Bye, Adrian.
Mr. Vine. In addition to charging you with threats and intimidation, harassment by communication, alleged to have occurred on October the 15th. And same charges from May the 27th. We'll appoint City Public Defender's Office to represent you on these charges.
Yes. I have a new charge.
You got 2 sets of new charges, 4 new misdemeanors. Right now, they're misdemeanors. City Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Next court date is going to be October the 30th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Bond is $2,499. If you post the bond, you need to appear. However, you've got an adult probation hold, so posting the bond's not getting you out of custody. Absolutely no contact with Elizabeth Gonzalez.
Okay.
Text, phone, mail, email, any contact at all. You're not to go to within 3 blocks of her residence or workplace. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, and no firearms or weapons. I'd suggest you not discuss the matter with anyone except your attorney. Thank you, Mr. Vine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There are people. Okay, Judge, I apologize. That was my fault. I usually do the not house first, so I'm going to the Andrea Rada now. And down the list.
And that should be the interpreter matter, Your Honor. Can you hear me okay? Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Right now, you guys.
Okay.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are?
Buenas noches, yo soy la juez Sayed. ¿Y usted quién es, señor?
Moisés Andrés Andrea Rada.
Moisés Andrés Andrea Rada.
Well, for the question, sir.
Looks like I have new sets of misdemeanor citations here for you.
Parece que tengo dos infracciones distintas por delitos menores para usted, señor. Espere.
Looks like the felony charges that I saw you on about a week and a half ago have been dismissed, at least for now.
Parece ser que las acusaciones por delitos graves, por cual lo vi hace como semana y media, se han desestimado, al menos por lo pronto.
And if I release you from custody, are you going to appear in court?
Señor, si le permito salir, usted se presentará cuando le corresponda en los juzgados. ¿Me escucha, señor?
No entendí mucho.
La juez de si lo deja salir el día de hoy, que se presentará cuando le toque presentarse en el juzgado.
Ya.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you another chance.
Le voy a dar otra oportunidad, señor.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Your next court date is going to be the 20th of November
La próxima comparecencia está pactada para el 20 de noviembre
at 1:30 in the afternoon in the
a la
Tucson.
1:30 por la tarde en el juzgado municipal.
Between now and then, you're not to possess any alcohol or illegal drugs.
Entre hoy y entonces no debe tener en su poder o posesión licor ni armas o drogas, perdóneme.
You're not to have
Droga y... Go ahead.
You're not to have contact with any of the victims in these matters.
No se le permitirá contacto con cualquiera de las víctimas que se citan en este caso.
You're not to go back to 5921 East 39th.
No regresará usted a 5921 al este de la calle 39,
6902 East Golf Links,
a 6902 al este de Golf Links,
7001 East Golf Links.
ni al 7001 al este de Golf Links.
You need to see about obtaining a behavioral health and a substance abuse assessment and beginning any
Yes.
recommended treatment as well.
Necesitará usted tramitar una evaluación de sustancias y de conducta inapropiada y empezar el tratamiento que se recomienda.
All right, thank you.
Es todo, gracias. Your Honor, may the interpreter be excused.
Hold on, one more thing for him.
Otra cosa, señor, regrese.
When they release you this evening, as you go out the door of the jail,
Cuando lo dejen salir de la cárcel, al salir usted de la cárcel, de la puerta central ahí,
you will see a transition center. I think there's a blue line directing you towards that.
va a ser un centro transicional. Pienso que existe una línea en el suelo de color azul para marcarle el paso hacia ese lugar.
Yeah, excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
This individual actually has a superior court hold. We're showing on our end.
Case was not dismissed, it was supervened.
Ah,
Le dicen
okay.
que tiene usted orden de... Espere, señor.
Then, okay, then
Espere.
when's his,
His arraignment is scheduled for October 25th.
October 25th for arraignment, Your Honor. Superior Court.
then
Pronto le explicarán, señor.
the next court date will be a video review on November the 5th at about 1:45.
Señor, la próxima comparecencia será una revisión por video en noviembre 5 a la 1:45 de la tarde.
Thank you for giving us
Yes.
that information, Jail. Because it
Dice la
doesn't show
juez
up
que
yet.
dice personal que hay una información. No va a poder salir por lo pronto, señor.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yes. Gracias, es todo. Puede retirarse. Your Honor, that was the one matter requiring interpreter assistance. May the interpreter be excused?
You may, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shane, and you, sir, are,
Maria Passenger.
you said Mr. Castro, is that correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Castro, I have a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court charging you with 2 counts of misconduct involving weapons, 1 count of dangerous drug violation, and 1 count of possession of paraphernalia. Alleged occurred on or about the 25th of August. We'll appoint Paul Gatone to represent you on these charges. Set an arraignment date. For October 28th at 1:30. And did either counsel wish to be heard on condition?
Just real briefly, Your Honor, he previously posted 2,500. The only reason he's in custody now is I believe he's in custody on 3 misdemeanor justice court matters. He previously bonded out and failed to contact pretrial services as ordered. You're muted.
Thank you, Peter. Your Honor, I also have the information that he's in custody on other charges. On the misdemeanors, he's being held on $500. Otherwise, I only see one prior from 2018 out of California. So we are asking for a low bond. This was a non-violent offense per pretrial assessment.
It's interesting because it looks like he may have posted bond initially on the JP case and then didn't appear on that either. So. Bond will be $7,500. If you post the bond, then you need to report to pretrial services. No alcohol, illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. And I suggest you not discuss this matter with anyone except your attorney. Thank you, Mr. Castro.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I just didn't catch the arraignment date.
October 28th.
Okay, thank you.
30.
And Judge, I can only assume the next one, Lopez, is likely still in the hospital based on the
I was
housing
I was
location.
about to ask the jail, so.
Well, she's muted right now, so I don't know if they answered. Can you unmute the teams, Antea?
I'm so sorry. I didn't even catch what you guys were just talking about.
Well, good evening. I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are.
Jose Mesa?
So jail, Mr. Lopez is still at the hospital.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mr. Mason, I have an internal complaint charging with burglary in the 3rd degree. Alleged occurred on or about the 27th of February.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll appoint Daniel South to represent you on these charges.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I thought I was being,
Just let her finish.
I'm sorry.
We'll talk in a bit.
And did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
Your Honor, I would just note, he has criminal history involving similar conduct. He's maxed out on both scales. He failed to appear, it looks like, for a sentencing in another matter. And when I looked up that matter that's listed in the pretrial report, he's going to be seen in Superior Court, I believe, tomorrow on that warrant.
And Your Honor, I have an issue with the probable cause in this matter. The allegation or the charge right now is Berg third unlawful entry, and he had allegedly been removing parts. He didn't make any sort of entry into the vehicle. So I would ask the court to consider a dismissal based on probable cause. If the court decides to find probable cause and hold him, given that he is in custody on other charges, I would just ask for a low bond.
Mr. Goodman, did you wish to address the issue?
Yes, Your Honor. A vehicle is a non-residential structure under the law, and it doesn't necessarily require him to enter. It's enter or remain unlawfully in or on a non-residential structure. So I believe that should be sufficient probable cause based on his conduct of making contact with the vehicle and I believe removing the catalytic converter, which would cause an entry into a portion of that vehicle, Judge.
Yeah, I am inclined to agree. So the motion is denied. Anything further on conditions?
Your Honor, I would just note
Understanding
that
the state could request a no bond hold.
I understand, Your Honor, so I will defer to the court.
What kind of convert? I think.
Hold on. Don't talk.
Preliminary hearing is October 31st at 1:30. Bond is $7,500. Pretrial services, if the bond is posted. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no contact with alleged victims, and no return to the incident location. Thank you. Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are?
Julian Flores Cañas.
Mr. Conyers, interim complaint charging you with domestic violence stalking, domestic violence kidnapping, domestic violence aggravated harassment. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and at either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions.
Your Honor, I would just note each one of his felony priors is violent. Both of his misdemeanor DVs involve the same victim, and he is on felony DV probation involving the same victim. So based on that and the allegations, we're requesting the high bond in light of that.
Your Honor, I would just note that he is not high on the failure to appear scale, and it appears that he maintains employment and has dependents. He is a lifelong resident. He's 31 years old. And because of that, we are just asking for a slight reduction in the state's sentence.
Preliminary hearing, it's October 31st at 1:30.
I mean,
Bond is $50,000. Bond is posted, you'll be released to pretrial services, but adult probation is placed to hold, so you won't be going anywhere. No alcohol or drugs, no accident of violence, no firearms or weapons, no simulated weapons, including BB guns, pellet guns, etc. Absolutely no contact with Ms. Felix. You don't go within 3 blocks of her residence or workplace. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Castro.
Yeah, you want to list the felonies?
yeah.
Send them up to me. I'll sort them out.
All right, felony charges. So, in order, yeah, you were called in, armed with your shirt. Yeah.
Guys gotta get up. Let's go. Get up.
Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
we have a copy of the Pima County warrant? Thank you. Good evening. You are
Ashley Peroxillo.
Ms. Well, I have a number of things. Warrant out of Pinal County. Possession of narcotic drugs, possession of paraphernalia alleged to put on July 9th of 2020. Bond on that will remain at $2,500 because you failed to appear twice after being released to pretrial services. So we're not going to do that again. Your hearing will be November the 18th at 9 a.m. No alcohol, illegal drugs, substance abuse assessment and treatment. If you post the bond, you need to contact Pinal County to get a court date and you need to appear.
Yes.
We have new charges for shoplifting, possession of paraphernalia alleged to have occurred today. Copy the warrant in the misdemeanor file.
Hey, search. But they were still seeking. Yes. This. Yeah. Thanks.
Your next court date on this is going to be November 20th. At 8:30 in the morning in the Pima County Justice Court. If you're in custody in Pinal County, it's up to you to contact the court and let them know that you are in custody. No alcohol or drugs, you don't go back to this location in Tucson Marketplace. And again, substance abuse assessment and treatment. Then we have additional charges being fixed this year for possession of paraphernalia in court.
Yes. Yeah.
Again, no alcohol or drugs, substance abuse assessment treatment. You don't go back to 1125 East Tucson Marketplace. Next court date's November 21st at 1:30 in Tucson City Court. And again, you need to contact the court if you are in custody and let them know. Right, thank you.
All right, Miss Ashley, go back.
She's on the canal line.
That's the same. Yeah. All right, Donnie.
Oh, here's.
Donnie. No. Oh, actually. Yes, sorry, Harris.
What happened to Donnelly?
He went suicidal, so he's in a housing unit at the moment.
Okay.
Will he be just continue to the next session, Your Honor?
I don't know. That's up to the jail. They can bring him out later. So. Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Down here's.
Mr. Harris. Interim complaint charging you with organized retail theft. Also have misdemeanor citations charging you with shoplifting earlier today. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and did either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions?
Your Honor, I understand this occurred in July, but I would just note he is
You're right.
probation out of Greenlee County. And what's of more concern, as the court noted, is that he committed a similar misdemeanor offense earlier today, as you noted. So we're requesting a bond.
And Your Honor, I'm asking for release or a low bond, given that this was assessed at a level 2 nonviolent offense. He's not high on the NCA or FTA scales, and his priors are drug related. It appears there could be some underlying substance use disorder. I note that there's a note about his Greenlee probation, but I don't see a hold. So for those reasons, we are asking for a release or a low bond.
I'm going to release you to the third party custody of pretrial services on this felony matter. Certain conditions. You need to comply with pretrial, including substance abuse assessment, behavioral health assessment, treatment as they direct, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. That includes knives. You don't go to Elcon Mall or any Target stores. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Then, as indicated, I also have misdemeanor charges from today. Next court date on these is going to be that same day, but at 9:30 in the morning in Tucson City Court. Your attorney doesn't represent you on these charges. Your attorney says you don't need to come to court. You still need to be in city court on November the 21st. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Again, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. You don't go back to Dick's Sporting Goods or Target, and behavioral health and substance abuse assessment and treatment. Thank you, Mr. Harris.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what was the preliminary hearing date?
Oh, excuse me, you're right, they're not the same dates. This is November 21st at 9:30. PH is November 12th.
Okay, thank you very much.
That good old transposition of numbers, what can I say?
Maxwell,
Ms. Maxwell, an inter complaint charged with possession of paraphernalia, possession of narcotic drug. The state is going to dismiss these charges at this time. That is a dismissal without prejudice, which means they may refile these charges at another date. I would strongly suggest that you get yourself into some treatment. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, Ms. Maxwell.
Ortiz
Your Honor.
Gonzalez, Brandon.
And Your Honor, the next couple defendants, and we confirm the spelling as far as the last letter goes, because the interim complaints both have an S, the calendar has these, and then the booking sheets have conflicting letters as well for the various. Yeah.
Ortiz Gonzalez, B, they're twins.
Oh, it's just a question of spelling of last name is the concern.
They're not twins. They're different
Brothers.
ages.
Yeah, they look like
They're all if we can go through this film. She hasn't asked him anything yet.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are,
Brandon Ortiz Gonzalez.
and you want to spell your last name for me?
Gondales.
The inter complaint here charging you with theft of means of transportation, third-degree burglary, and operating a chop shop. We'll appoint legal defender's office to represent you on these charges, and at either counsel wish to be heard on conditions.
No, Your Honor.
No, if the court is inclined to follow the state's recommendation of pretrial services, we don't have anything further to add.
Preliminary hearing dates November the 12th at 1:30 in the afternoon. You're going to be released to the third-party custody pretrial services. You participate in monitoring and treatment under their supervision. That will include no alcohol or illegal drugs, no driving without a valid license, and we'll talk about your license in a moment. There's to be no vehicles in your residential yard that are not owned by you or other residents. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'd suggest you not discuss the matter with anyone except your attorney. I also have charges here for December 28th of last year. Driving on a suspended license and having fictitious plates on a vehicle. Failing to appear in court. Your next court date in this is going to be that same day, November the 12th. This time I'm not transposing numbers. At 9:30 in the morning, also in justice court. Your attorney does not represent you on this charge. If your attorney says you don't need to come to court, that's only the 1:30 court. You still need to be in court at 9:30 that morning. Again, no driving without a valid license and no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Thank you.
Thank you.
So then if, Your Honor, if it's actually an S at the end, I think the next one was booked in with a Z at the end. So I don't know if we need to correct
Right.
that.
Yeah, we'll,
Confirm.
I'll
Yes.
correct the paperwork.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm Judge Fade, and you, sir, are
Ryan Ortiz.
and Gonzalez has an S at the end or a Z?
Yes.
In a complaint charging theft of means of transportation, burglary in the third degree, and operating a chop shop. We're going to appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. And did either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions?
Your Honor, I believe this is co-defendant. So I don't, did you appoint the PD on the other
Nope.
defendant? Oh, then nothing further to add, Judge.
And if the court's inclined to follow the state's recommendation of release to pretrial, then nothing further from defense.
Preliminary hearing date's November 12th at 1:30 in the afternoon. You'll be released to the third-party custody of pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no driving without a valid license, no contact with alleged victims. There's to be no motor vehicles in your residential yard that aren't owned by you or other residents. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Patterson. Oh, just kidding. Never mind. Donnelly, come on screen.
Beg pardon, Your Honor. We have Donnelly ready here for you if you would like now.
Okay.
And sorry again for the inconvenience.
Good evening. I'm Judge Fayette, and you, sir, are
I'm Donnelly.
in your first name?
My name is Cameron. Good evening.
In a complaint charging you with aggravated assault on a police officer. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and either counsel wish to be heard on conditions.
Your Honor, the state recognizes he doesn't have a felony history. What is very concerning is what he did to the officer by pushing the officer over while he was on his motorcycle, causing injury, Judge.
Your Honor, I didn't have the interim complaint. I was only able to gather what Peter has just shared from the pretrial workup. I would note that this was assessed at a level 1. He is not low on, or excuse me, he is low on the NCA scale and not high on the FTA scale. As the state mentioned, he has no priors. He's 31 years old, and his mother shared with pretrial services that he has been a resident of 25 years. And she shared that he also has a disability and he might be experiencing some mental health issues while incarcerated here. So for those reasons, we are asking for pretrial release.
This behavior gives me some great cause for concern. This isn't a situation where an officer was engaged with someone and they got angry and lashed out. It was a
Well, Your Honor, again, I can't speak to Mr. Donnelly's mental state. It appears that his mother acknowledges that there might be some mental health issues. I think he's currently experiencing some issues here at the jail. We just need more information. I hear you, but he has no priors. He's not known to be violent or dangerous at this time.
preliminary hearing is October the 31st at 1:30. Bond is $2,500. If the bond is posted, you'll be released to pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drugs. You'll engage in a behavioral health assessment and recommended treatment. And I'd suggest, other than in the course of that, you not discuss this matter with anyone except your attorney. I also have charges here out of Tucson City Court that go back to March of 2020 for theft or control of property. Your next court date on this will be November 25th at 9:30 in the morning. You'll be released on these charges. However,
You're gonna move into the what? Not meeting on the same thing.
if you're still in custody, we'll set a review hearing for November the 19th at 1:45. Again, condition of release, behavioral health assessment and treatment. Thank you, Mr. Donald. Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you are
Cameron Patterson.
Mr. Patterson, and a complaint charging you with theft of means of transportation and burglary in the third degree. We'll appoint legal advocates to represent you on these charges, and either counsel wish to be heard on conditions.
Your Honor, this is a date range offense for
Right.
for a portion of it. He's on release, but given that aspect, the state would be fine with release to pretrial services in light of that.
And I have nothing further to add if the court is inclined to follow the state's recommendation.
If I wasn't, we would have set different PH dates for his co-defendant. So, all right, preliminary hearing date's November the 12th at 1:30. You'll be released to the third-party custody of pretrial services. No alcohol, illegal drugs. You don't drive without a valid license. No firearms or weapons. You don't return to the incident locations. That's include both the QT and the residence of your co-defendants. I can suggest you don't talk to your co-defendants except through counsel.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, Mr. Patterson.
Yes, ma'am. God bless. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you are
María de los Ángeles Preciado. Good evening.
Ms. Preciado. Interim complaint charging you with 2 counts of possession of narcotic drug, 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs, and 1 count of possession of paraphernalia. Did either counsel wish to be heard? Will appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. And did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
Your Honor, we're just requesting a bond with Smart Court in light of the 3 Tucson City Court probation violation warrants.
And Your Honor, if the court's inclined to hold her on the city court matters, then we would also ask for the low bond. Otherwise, we're asking for pretrial release. She is not high on the NCA or FTA scales. These appear to be personal possession charges, which I believe is what qualified court. Her priors from 10, 11 years ago indicate that there's likely a substance use disorder. So
She will
for
be held on the
those-
misdemeanor. There's no 2 ways about that.
All right. So,
All
Your
right.
Honor, we're
Preliminary
clear with the low bond.
Preliminary hearing date will be October 31st at 1:30. Smart Court will be October 28th at 9. Bond is $1,000. Substance abuse assessment and treatment. Pretrial services supervision if you post the bond. Then we have petition to revoke probation. Alleging you failed to report, failed to comply with probation. Failed to peer review hearing. We'll reappoint City Public Defender's Office to represent you on these charges. Bond is $2,499 in cash. Next court date's November the 6th at 1:45. If you somehow post those bonds, court date will be November 25th at 2 o'clock. No alcohol, legal drugs, no acts of domestic violence. You need to comply with probation terms.
Thank you.
And City Public Defender's Office is again appointed to represent you. There's one of two, and I can't find one page. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I just thought I'd let you know. Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you are
Robert Villa.
Mr. Villa. I have a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court charging you with possession of narcotic drug, possession of paraphernalia on May the 2nd of this year. We'll appoint Public Defender's Office to represent you on these charges, set an arraignment date for October 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Did either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions?
Your Honor, I would just note he was technically on release for this case. I'm the supervisor of the STEPS program. What essentially happened is he failed out of STEPS, failed to keep in contact, I believe, with pre-trial, failed to appear for arraignment, and he only has the AP, I believe, the probation hold, not because this case is a violation, but just for the complete lack of compliance while on that probation.
And Your Honor, given the hold, we are just asking for a low bond.
Bond will be $1,000. No alcohol, illegal drugs. Pretrial services if you post that bond. Then I have, oops, actually. No. Then I have warrants out of Tucson City Court. Charges for possession of paraphernalia on May 17th of 2023, failing to appear. Criminal trespass, August 8th of 2023, failures to appear. Possession of paraphernalia on September 2nd of this year, failure to appear. I'm going to release you on these charges. Court date's November 21st at 2 o'clock. If you're still in custody on the 15th of November on the felony matters, they'll set a review hearing and may move the court date or bring you up on video. You're not to return to 2510 North Winstill. Again, no alcohol, illegal drugs, and a substance use assessment and treatment if you're out of custody. Thank you.
Yeah. You can see that. Pues, you can see on that red shirt for mistakes.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Miles Boyce.
Mr. Boyce. Interim complaint charges possession of narcotic drug, possession of paraphernalia. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. It appears that you may be eligible to participate in a program called STEP through Superior Court that would, it's a program that requires you to participate in a treatment program for a period of time. If you successfully complete the program, charges are dismissed without ever being formally charged, or they may be reduced, one of the two. Did you want to explore that program?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to be released to the third-party custody of pretrial services.
Everybody.
Will be October 28th at 9 o'clock in the morning in Pima County Superior Court. That is a treatment court hearing. You do need to appear for that court hearing. And is counsel willing to waive time for preliminary hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's look at December the 11th for a preliminary hearing date. You'll be released to the third-party custody of pretrial services. You need to comply with monitoring or treatment. You need to report to them. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Voice. Okay. Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Andrew Weibel.
Mr. Weibel. I have an indication of a warrant. Charter of Pima County. Hold on. Pima County Superior Court. Charging you theft of means of transportation, third-degree burglary, possession of burglary tools, and knowingly displaying false plates. These are alleged to have occurred on or about the 8th of August.
Sorry.
5th of August, excuse me.
It's getting dismissed. I'm not getting out.
Will appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. Set an oriented date for October 28th at 1:30. And did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
Your Honor, yes, I would note he is pending 3 other cases, similar charges. Even though this is a refiled matter, if you look at the criminal, the criminal history section that shows all the cases, the initial appearance and arraignment was set on the very same day as all 3 of his other cases that he bonded out for and failed to appear for. So he'll likely be seen in Superior Court on those 3 other matters, or maybe he already was seen on the warrants for those by the assigned judge. But the state feels the requested bonds appropriate based on the logistics of that and the number of open cases for the similar charges.
When he was arrested, he hasn't. Anything?
And you're on. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, anything further from defense?
Your Honor, I just had a brief conversation with Mr. Weibel, and if the state's asking for a bond in lieu of no bond, we will just defer to the court.
Bond will be $10,000. Pretrial services if the bond is posted, but there are 3 Superior Court failure to appear warrants, so and we don't address those. No contact with the alleged victims, not return to the incident locations, no alcohol or illegal drugs. And I suggest you not discuss this matter with anyone except your attorney. And then, as noted, you have 3 warrants out of Superior Court, and Superior Court will see you on them probably later this week. All right, thank you. Okay, you did CORs on those cases. We don't see them. For him, you did conditions of release on the Superior Court warrants. We don't see those. Superior Court failures to appear, we don't see. Okay? Just the. Okay, this one was, but the other one's not. So I'll leave those for you to deal with.
Judge, can I intervene? This is the jail document with all 4 of those Superior Court cases. It's one warrant with all 4 cases listed.
Is it 4 or 3 cases?
4.
But the other cases, we wouldn't normally see them on.
They're all failure to appear for initial arraignment. That's one warrant for that charge on all 4 cases. It's not a probation and it's not a regular 2507 for case management or anything else. It was all 4 were.
I don't have a copy of the warrant.
And send it to you if you'd like.
Okay, I'm gonna get a copy of it in a moment.
From looking at the minute entry, the 3 other listed cases are failure to appear at a case management conference. So I don't see how Judge Chayette would be seeing her on those. It would only be the one for having missed an initial appearance arraignment.
Yeah, it could have been a paperwork error at Superior Court too.
Yeah, now that he said that, I see that, but it doesn't tell me which case is which. So I don't know which one you're wanting, which one you saw him on. Then I'm very sorry for the miscommunication.
That's okay. You'll get the paperwork in a minute. But what I saw him on was 3237.
3237. Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I had a question about Lopez. I didn't know where we shook out.
For Lopez?
Okay.
Unfortunately, we can't waive his presence, Antea, because his lack of appearance isn't voluntary, given that he's in the hospital.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. I just didn't know if we had I think you guys discussed it and I was talking to someone. I apologize.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
thank you.
All right, we're good. You can